While the world scrambles over $100 oil, Xiaomi just dropped the most advanced EV sedan ever made by a smartphone company. 902 kilometers of range. LiDAR on every single trim. And it still costs less than a Tesla Model 3. Let's get into it. Xiaomi officially launched the next generation SU7 today, and the specs are staggering. The Pro model delivers 902 kilometers of range on the Chinese test cycle, roughly 560 miles, making it one of the longest-range EVs ever made. The top Max variant gets 897-volt architecture with 5C charging capability, adding 670 kilometers of range in just 15 minutes. That's a 10 to 80% charge in about 11 minutes. But here's the real kicker, every single trim now comes standard with LiDAR and 700 TOPS of compute. Even the base model at 230,000 yuan, about $33,000, has hardware that most competitors charge premium prices for. Xiaomi racked up 89,000 pre-orders in the first 24 hours. They're targeting 550,000 deliveries this year. BMW's new factory in Hungary is already running double shifts to meet demand for the 9-3, just months after the electric SUV debuted. CEO Oliver Zipse says demand is significantly exceeding expectations, with order books full well into this year. The 9-3 accounts for a third of all BMW EV orders in Europe right now. Here's what's interesting, BMW says the car is bringing in customers who have never owned a BMW before. The plant can build up to 150,000 EVs per year at full capacity. A long-wheelbase version is also being built in China for export to Southeast Asian markets where generous rear legroom is a major selling point. BMW has revealed the all-new i3 sedan, the electric version of the iconic 3 Series. The headline number, 440 miles of estimated EPA range, more than any Tesla currently on sale. That includes the 363-mile Model 3 and the 410-mile Model S that's about to be discontinued. The i3 uses BMW's new E-Class platform with 800-volt architecture and 400-kilowatt charging. That means a 10 to 80% charge in under 25 minutes. Production starts in Munich this August, with US deliveries in 2027. The car also features standard bidirectional charging and a NACS charging port for Tesla supercharger access. BMW is clearly going all in on the next generation of EVs. A new analysis from energy think tank Ember shows the global EV fleet avoided 1.7 million barrels of oil consumption per day in 2025. That's approaching 70% of what Iran exports through the Strait of Hormuz. The savings are adding up fast. At $80 per barrel, China alone saves more than $28 billion per year in avoided oil imports. Europe saves about $8 billion. The shift is happening everywhere. 39 countries now have EV sales shares above 10%, up from just 4 in 2019. Vietnam hit 38% EV share, ahead of the EU at 26%. And China crossed a major milestone last year. EVs now make up more than half of all new car sales. The current oil shock is driving record interest in electric vehicles. Polestar's Detroit dealership reports a 200% increase in traffic since late February. Shopper consideration of EVs and hybrids on Edmunds jumped from 21% to 22.4% in just 1 week. The national average for gas hit $3.63, with California at $5.42. A similar pattern happened in 2022 after Russia invaded Ukraine, when EV consideration spiked from 17.5% to 25% in 1 month. Analysts say a flood of 1.1 million used EVs coming off lease over the next 3 years will make electric cars more accessible than ever. While other countries scramble over $100 oil, China has a significant buffer. Beijing spent decades and hundreds of billions investing in EVs and renewables, a strategy now paying off as global oil markets spiral. Chinese demand for refined oil and gasoline fell for the second straight year. Experts at Oxford Institute for Energy Studies say China's economy is now less vulnerable to energy supply disruptions than ever before. Half of China's seaborne crude comes from the Middle East, but Beijing has enough breathing room to avoid the extreme measures some Asian countries are already adopting, like 4-day workweeks or closing universities. The EV revolution isn't just about emissions anymore. It's about energy security. That's your China Tech Update for March 20th. The EV revolution is accelerating faster than anyone predicted, and the current energy crisis is only speeding things up. If you're watching this in 2030, you might wonder why anyone was still buying gas cars at all. Subscribe for daily updates, and I'll see you tomorrow.